This is a short video on solving 30, 60, 90 triangles. Remember that the 30, 60, 90 triangle is a special right triangle. The ratio of the sides of the triangle is 1 to square root of 3 to 2. And that if you want to look at formulas, that the short times square root of 3 will equal the long, and that the short times 2 will always equal the hypotenuse. Everything always comes back to the short leg on the right triangle. The next question would be, where is the short leg located? It's always directly across from the 30-degree angle. Because the 30 is the smallest angle in the triangle, it's opposite the shortest side, so we call that the short leg. The long leg is always directly across from the 60-degree angle, and the hypotenuse is always directly across from the right angle. Okay, so we're going to solve this right triangle problem, and right now I have identified the 15 as being the short leg. So if I take the short leg, which is right here in the ratio, the 1, and multiply it by square root of 3, I will get the long. So the long, which is x, is equal to 15 times the square root of 3. And 15 times the square root of 3 is simply 15 square roots of 3. So my long leg is 15 square roots of 3 centimeters. Next I'm going to move to the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is the short leg times 2, and in the ratio it's the 1 to square root of 2, or sorry, 1 to 2 ratio. So I'm going to take 15, which is my short leg, times 2, and I will have y, which is my hypotenuse. 15 times 2 is 30, so 30 centimeters is my hypotenuse. Now the short leg is the easiest leg to work from, so you always have to keep going back to that short leg. Let's look at another one. In this diagram, directly across from my 30, I have x, and so x is my short leg. Across from my 60 is my long leg, and currently that is 18. And then y will be my hypotenuse. So I'm working from the long leg this time. So that means I'm going to have to go back to the short. And remember that the short, which is x, times square root of 3, will equal the long leg, which happens to be 18. Okay, so that basically means I'm going to be dividing by the square root of 3. And some students just like to simply divide without writing it out, and that's fine. So x is equal to 18 over the square root of 3, or divided by the square root of 3. You're going to have to rationalize this because you have square roots. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by square root of 3. So x is 18 square roots of 3 over 3, because the square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. And now I have to reduce this 18 over 3, which is going to be 6. So x is 6 square roots of 3, and this is my short leg, and it's in centimeters. Now I have my short leg. I'm going to take my short leg, and I'm going to multiply it by 2 to get to my hypotenuse. So y, which is the hypotenuse, is 2 times 6 square roots of 3. I'm going to take the 2 times the 6, and so I get y equal 12 square roots of 3, and this is in centimeters, and it's my hypotenuse. Okay, let's go to a third example. Okay, on this example I have an 11 centimeters, and this is my hypotenuse. Across from the 60 will be my long leg. Across from the 30 will be my short leg. Okay, I'm at the hypotenuse. I'm going to have to get back to the short leg, and remember the ratio is 1 square root of 3, 2. So basically it's a 1 to 2 ratio between the short and the hypotenuse. So the short times 2, remember, is the hypotenuse. I'm just going to plug into this. So 2 times y is 11, so y is 11 over 2. I'm going to leave this because I don't want to mix a decimal with my radical when I work with the square root of 3. So 11 over 2 is my y. Now I want to get to the long, so I'm going to take my short, which is y, times the square root of 3, and I will have my long, which is x. So 11 over 2 is y, times the square root of 3 will equal x. So 11 square root of 3 all over 2, because remember the square root of 3 is really over 1. So 11 square root of 3 over 2 is equal to x, and this is in centimeters. Okay, let's look at another example. On this example, across from my 30 is still my short, that doesn't change. Across from the 60 is the long, and across from the 90-degree angle is my hypotenuse. I have my long leg. That means I'm going to have to go back to the short. Remember the ratio again is 1 to square root of 3 to 2. That means that I need to take my long and divide by the square root of 3 to get back to the short, or use the formula which says short times square root of 3 equal long. So I'm going to go x times the square root of 3, plugging in, equal 19 square roots of 5. Now I have to divide by the square root of 3. So x equal, I'm going to have to rationalize over here because I have a square root of 3 in the denominator, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by square root of 3. And I get 19 square roots of 15 all over 3. 19 over 13 does not reduce, so that is my answer. This is my short leg. Now I need to get to the hypotenuse, which is y, and the formula says, or the ratio says, it's a 1 to 2 ratio. So I need to take my short and times it by 2, or multiply it by 2, to get my hypotenuse. So I'm going to take 19 square roots of 15 all over 3. I'm going to multiply that by 2. If you need to go 2 over 1, feel free, and that will equal y. So I get 2 times 19, which is 38, square roots of 15 all over 3, because 3 times 1 is 3, and this is my y, and this is in centimeters. Now that was a very quick video on the 30, 60, 90. We're going to do one more and finalize this, and that should give you a quick procedure on how to do the 30, 60, 90. Okay, last one. Hypotenuse is 15 square roots of 5. I'm looking for a short, which is across from the 30, and I'm looking for a long, which is across from the 60. Okay, I have the hypotenuse, so I'm going to go back to the short, and I know that the short times 2 was the hypotenuse. So y times 2, or 2y, equal 15 square roots of 5. I'm going to have to divide by 2 on both sides, or cut it in half. So y is 15 square roots of 5 over 2 centimeters. This is my short. Now, the formula says take the short times the square root of 3, and you will have your long. So I'm going to take my 15 square roots of 5 over 2. I'm going to multiply by the square root of 3 over 1, if that helps you, and it will equal my x, or my long. So that is 15 square roots of 15 all over 2, because 2 times 1 is 2 centimeters, and that is my long leg. Okay, that concludes the video on the 30, 60, 90. If you need more explanation, please stop in and see me.